Hi, I'm Henry.
And I'm Maureen.
And our guest today is Alisa Sydow, Associate Professor of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at ESCP Business School in London, and one of the Thinkers 50 radar for 2025.
Oh, looking forward to this as well. Another Thinkers 50s radar.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So, what brings you joy?
Actually, two things.
Two things?
I'm doing two things, Henry, just dropped in there. Because how could I forget my birthday?
Oh, yes.
It was my birthday. I was 27 again. I'm sorry, 27. Yeah. I was 23 a few years back. Now I'm 27.
Yeah, okay.
Until further notice. But actually what's giving me joy is that I've discovered chess.
And that's Duolingo, is it?
On Duolingo. I know. I need to invest because I keep talking about Duolingo. But I saw that they also do chess for beginners. So, yeah, they've got me. I'm hooked. I love it. And I heard that you play chess as well.
I do play chess. I play a lot of chess.
Well, give me a week. No, actually, I need a bit longer. What's been giving you joy, Henry?
Well, I've been on holiday in South Korea and Japan.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Well, I think South Korea is the future and Japan is the past.
Really?
Yes, indeed. South Korea has GDP per capita above Japan, whereas in the 80s, Japan was sixfold GDP per capita. And South Korea has credit cards, whereas Japan doesn't. Japan has cash.
No. Oh, really?
Yeah, well, Starbucks doesn't have cash, but cafes have cash, buses have cash, subways have cash.
Oh, my word. And that's the thing that's dying out, especially when you think about over here.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, okay. So what's next, Henry?
Let's go with Alisa.
Yay.
So today we're joined by Alisa Sydow, Associate Professor of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at ESCP Business School in London, and one of the Thinkers 50 radar for 2025. Alisa's work explores how entrepreneurship can be a genuine force for social impact, especially in emerging markets across Africa, and how founders can stay true to their mission while scaling sustainability. She's also the co-founder of Numpy, which connects women entrepreneurs in the Global South with mentors and global network. Alisa, it's a real pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for the nice introduction.
Yes, absolutely. So ESCP Business School is a French grande école and the world's oldest business school, established in 1819. Is that right?
That is right, yes. As far as I remember when I had my job interview and I learned all those numbers, yes. No, it is right. And yes, we are the oldest business school and we were founded in Paris, in France.
Is that what attracted you to it?
No, what has attracted me actually is that we are now a European business school in terms of that we have different campuses across Europe. Yes, originally It was founded in Paris, but as you can see, I'm located to the London campus. Before I've been to the Turin campus, and we also have campuses in Berlin and Madrid.
Wow. Oh, fantastic.
And so that is the nice thing because we are one school, one business school. Students are moving from one campus to the other. And it's always nice to have colleagues on all the different countries and cities.
Awesome.
Wow.
That makes it very international and a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm going to have to look that up. Okay. Henry, what's your first question?
You describe yourself as passionate about entrepreneurship for good. What first drew you into studying and supporting entrepreneurs in emerging markets?
It's a very good question because I think I have asked myself that question a million times because the actual decision that I made to do a PhD back then was not because I wanted to do academia. I wanted to become a professor, but I had the opportunity back then in 2015 to do my PhD around the topic of entrepreneurship with a specific angle in Kenya. And even without having been to Kenya before or to the whole African continent, I said, yes, I want to subscribe to this. And I don't know, it just happened. But now thinking back and better understanding and reflecting on my decision back then that I honestly did only because I had a certain feeling is that I can now understand one driving force why I'm so fascinated about emerging markets, specifically countries like Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Rwanda, is because I can't stand inequalities. And if we look at the story that we see that is still happening around how we frame what's going on in Africa as a continent,
Yeah.
It's just simply biased and it's very wrong. And every time I went, for instance, to Nairobi and I came back with a beautiful handbag or with other beautiful items, everyone was just looking at me, but those things are made in Kenya, with the perspective of, wow, they wouldn't be able to do it. And this is just simply wrong. And so that's why I believe that instead of having international aid, instead of just sending donations, I think we can do so much more for impact, for creating a better future for the people, the locals, if we just simply trust in them, if we give them equal opportunities, if we give them a seat on the same table. And I think entrepreneurship is the origin to get there. And that's why I have my studies all around entrepreneurship in Africa.
That's fantastic. Wow. That's fantastic. And does it actually go down to specifically just Africa, or in terms of like women, or is it just entrepreneurs as a whole?
I usually say emerging markets because, as I said, my driving force is about inequality, but I'm also a qualitative scholar. So I like the stories. I like to talk to people. And when you do qualitative research, you want to see the outliers, the extreme cases. And that's why my focus is on the continent Africa, because it's just in a way more extreme due to historical reasons, political reasons, economic reasons, etc.
Yes.
However, I'm also interested in what's going on in Latin America and some Asian countries at the same time.
Oh, really?
But you can't also study everything because you don't have enough time. We all have the scarce resource of 24 hours a day. So I need to start somewhere. But with the project that we have together with the UN and E-Trade for Women, because we are focused now in the first place around female founders from the continent Africa, we want to explore also what's going on in Latin America and in Asia. So I'm opening up to other geographic areas as well.
Perfect.
Okay. So what led you to focus on artisan entrepreneurs in Kenya? How did you connect with the KI flea market community and how did the fieldwork unfold?
Yes, the flea market and everything that's happening in Nairobi and the different research, let's say, projects that I have and the topics that I study, they happened basically the first time that I came to Kenya. It was due to the opportunity that I had together with my PhD program. So very organizational reasons, because it's a rather stable country. Back then I was still a PhD student in my first year. I'm a woman. So if you want to send somewhere a person, it needs to be at least politically also stable. And since the very first moment, I spent more or less 3 months in Nairobi. You also meet people, and step by step, that's the wonderful thing with Nairobi or other cities, is that it's very personal. So once you meet people, once you spend time together, you're really able to turn this into a friendship. It's, let's say, the opposite of what you have in London. Everyone is meeting up, but it's briefly, it's business. Let's go straight to the point and we go. It's the opposite in Nairobi, like people count, time counts, and it's important. So that is the moment where I actually met a lot of female founders and we turned into friendship, because apart from the fact that we are completely from different regions in the world and had a completely different childhood, back in the late 20s, we were both in, let's say, very similar situations when it comes to relationships, issues, and so on. And so we had a lot of things in common, friendships, and it's just a very strong community. Once you know one person that is part of this artisan community, a lot of them. And so that was also the starting point where I felt like I want to do more research around it, because it's a fascinating community driven by incredible, interesting women that most of the time are really trying to cope and balance being a single mother, working, building up a business, and paying the school fees.
Yeah. So I can imagine, because that's quite a lot. And then when you start to think about this, like, there's one of the things I always say is, how do you stay true to yourself rather than just chasing the money and so forth? So it's really interesting to understand that. How do you help everyone stay authentic to themselves in terms of their heritage, the culture, rather than just being, I don't want to say like a Primark. How do you help them with this?
In a way, at least to stick to their culture and heritage, it's something where they don't need the help. It's usually the very origin of their motivation why they start a business and why they are unfortunately that crazy enough to start a business, because it's not easy. It's not easy in London. It's not easy in Berlin. It's not easy in the US. But imagine doing the same in Nairobi or in another city. So you need to be a little bit crazy to do that. Yes. And this touch of craziness is most of the times actually driven by their love to where they come from and the pride that they have in being more and more an ambassador. And the interesting part is that you can see that in especially also women that have been maybe for a little bit of time abroad, because then they're coming back and they feel even more the responsibility to give something back on what they have experienced also abroad, and having seen the wrong image that is still in a way sold somewhere, to say, no, we can do it. At the same time, another driving force sometimes is also their own pain and suffer, because a very easy example is the beauty sector. So most of the times those artisans starting to do beauty products with their own hand is driven by the fact that the needs of their local hair is completely different from what the Western big corporates such as Procter & Gamble, Unilever, with the different brands can actually offer. But what you find in the supermarkets are the Western standardized products that are not made for their hair. So there is a certain need where they say, like, why should I get to the supermarket? Why should I get those products that are not made for me if I get actually all the local ingredients that are exactly what I need? And that is most of the times the starting point of saying, I build up a new brand and I get started.
I love that.
Can you unpick the country of origin effect problem that you described with how deeply does it affect local artisans in Kenya?
So it's not such a problem. It's more that, let's say, again, we're starting at an unequal level. So I'm originally from Germany. If I say made in Germany, what do you have in mind? Probably high quality cars, engineering, good work, being reliable. So there is a certain brand around the made in Germany. But then I've spent 12 years in Italy. If now I make the same question, we are all thinking about made in Italy. Even more beautiful pictures in mind. We're thinking about the good food, the wine, the fashion, Ferrari, and whatsoever. So even the made in China has made their own brand. It's a different positioning, but they have their own brand. And this brand is basically exactly what we mean with it's coming from a certain origin, because only the product comes from a certain area, geographically speaking, and that area has its own reputation and branding. It has immediately the spillover effect and the value to the products that are coming from that area. This is completely missing in emerging markets. If we usually ask something about a made in Zimbabwe, I don't know if we have something in mind. Maybe there are even people that have never heard about the country.
That's right.
So due to the fact what I said before, that there is an increasing being proud of being born in Kenya, we can think about also the historical facts, because now they are like the first generations that were born as Kenyans. So they are not anymore related so much to the tribes, but they feel Kenyans. If you go around Kenya, you have a lot of times that you see everyone with their armband or something, with a bracelet with the Kenyan flag. They always have something that shows the Kenyan flag on them.
Oh, really?
Most of the people, a lot of people, you can find it. I never see that in Italy. I never see that in Germany. So there is a certain connection to, we are Kenyans. We are from Kenya. We are proud of it. We can do it. And this is related now step by step also into, we want to create this brand. We want to establish this made in Kenya. And it's interesting to see because it's a co-development between it's coming from the community, using locally sourced products and making them by their hands, most of the time those artisan communities, while at the same time also the government has understood the value of it and has started to use like a brand and a logo.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it's actually almost, I think it was at least for free. You just need to register because they want to trace, and you need to really show evidence that your supply chain is local. So they're starting working on it. And that's interesting to see, because that's one way how finally maybe we can also start to shape the narrative about how we perceive the products that are coming from Kenya.
And I guess it goes back to the marketing and getting the word, getting that information out there. So what role does storytelling or narrative play in repositioning the goods in the marketplace gets out there?
It's so important, and it's not yet done enough, because again, those entrepreneurs, if it's a female founder, a male founder, doesn't matter in terms of the gender, but the founders are already busy because most of the times there are 5 businesses at the same time. A side hustle here, a side hustle there, full-time job, kids, family, other issues, etc. So they already struggle to really have the time to dedicate on their business to make it grow. Thinking about all the marketing activities, thinking how to put it out on Instagram, etc., is just very challenging. So unfortunately, there is at the moment no one really who gives them a little bit of support, gives them
really?
online visibility. Not so much. The most of the help that you get are NGO driven education training programs where, you need to be somewhere in the classroom, listen to a business model canvas story, etc. But they don't have the visibility that they deserve in a way. The stories are not that told, and especially not at an international scale. The only thing that happens is, of course, driven by maybe some tourists that are coming in and out, which maybe join some of those flea markets, which maybe engage with some of the founders. But again, we also know that not every tourist, the way how they travel, most of them, they have very closed eyes. They only want to see the lions, and then not everyone wants to engage with the local community.
Yeah. Oh.
So you co-founded Napelka, connecting women entrepreneurs in the Global South with global mentors?
Indeed, because the whole point is that due to the research and the experience that I had so far, is that for a big mass of local founders, there is no real help at the moment. So in other words, we have startup scale-ups that are outliers because they're building up tech-driven, scalable business models. We do have them. They are fantastic, but they have already support because there are enough accelerators. There are a lot of even early investors that might have an international network. So they're covered, even if there is still kind of scope for giving them even more, especially funding availability. But when it comes to those average founders that are doing those artisan work and they want to scale, but they never get into a digital scalable business model because it's not what they do, because they have a product.
Yeah.
They are maybe in food and beverage, maybe into farming, maybe mango farming and mango juices. So they're getting more into SMEs, small businesses, but they're still very important. And at the moment, they don't really have a lot of support in terms of community building, business partnerships, funding support, because they cannot go to VCs. They cannot go to investors, and probably not even business angels. They can go to family and friends. They can go to the SACCOs, which are informal groups helping them, or to the banks. But we know the banking sector is very challenging because you get interest rates around 14% at the moment. If you get a loan, then you're already lucky. So the point is, this is a big mass market because there are a lot of those SME mainstream average founders. And my passion is to find a way with Nampelka to give them a platform, to give them a support where they can come and really scale at their own pace, grow at their own ideas, their businesses.
So with Nampelka, I know it's not definitely just you that runs this. So you must have a team that does this. And with us here at Happy, we're about that leadership, creating joyful workplaces. So I'm seeing the connection in the sense of that. How do you create this team to help serve that dream of yours?
So actually, we're not such a big team. It's me and Susan in Nairobi. It's still also bootstrapped and self-funded. Let's see how long we can go. So it is rather challenging in terms of time management, but that was not your question. However, to your question, in terms of how can we ensure that we have the same vision? So it was in the past very challenging for me to actually get to the point where I have a partner on my side that is trustworthy, aligned, and reliable. It was very challenging, but especially every time where there was some failure, some struggle, some conflict, and I needed to find again a new person, I understood more and more what are the criteria that I need to check upfront. And one of the biggest criteria is really that you have the same driving force. And in her case, it's similar to mine, that she is very passionate about building up her own thing. So building up something, being an entrepreneur. And second, helping, supporting those founders, doing something for this big mass and creating an impact. And that really helps us because we know we are aligned, even if we have maybe sometimes some conflict, but there is something that can be the glue and that help us actually to work together, especially if we are on long distance between London and Nairobi.
Fantastic. Because also in the sense of the way that you're managing this is the sort of things that you're trying to put into the business with these entrepreneurs as well. Because again, you're teaching these skills for them to be leaders in their businesses.
Exactly. And I don't know. It might be also that the way how we are building up might be wrong or right. We're still in the process of understanding what is really the thing that they need. Because there are challenging customer segment. If I wouldn't be, and Susan, not that driven by the impact that we want to create, because there are so many and they could do so much amazing things in the future, I would immediately stop and do something else that is faster, easier to address, and you can make money out of it. But I'm not, because I'm still like, we can find a way, because they don't have time. They don't have really a lot of financial resources available, because all the resources that they have, they really want to put into the product or the service, something like that. So they are challenging, but we are getting there because we are doing a few things that is really community driven. And I think what gives us the push to say that we are moving on and we don't give up is that the ones that are with us for a longer time and they're really coming back and saying, thank you so much for what you do.
Oh, really?
That has helped me in XYZ. Those are the moments where you're like, okay, even if we're not making money at the moment, but we're helping them. The money comes second. Let's see.
And do you have many global mentors? Is it just you, Alisa, or Susan, or do you have any mentors?
Like for myself, for my entrepreneurial endeavor, as having me a mentor on my side.
Yeah, yes. But do you have any other mentors?
For the entrepreneurs?
For the entrepreneurs, yes, of course, we have a lot of different mentors. What we do at the moment is basically community management. So community in terms of managing all the local founders and managing the global community of different mentors that want to be connected to the local founders. So this is growing. It's growing. It has started based on personal network, and even the personal network is growing, especially if you have a certain value in it. And that's what we are doing. What is missing is the part of now, after the community, how we can monetize it.
But you're starting something. It's magnificent what you're doing. It really is. And I guess with this as well, there's got to be a lot of trust, because this is a lot of work that you've got to put into this. So do you have any stories around making sure that you have the right mentors and that they can give what it is that's needed to be really impactful?
Yes and no. Luckily, at the moment, because it's really based on an inner circle with like-minded people, that it was quite easy to kind of screen and get the right people on board. But I need to say that sometimes, even if you believe you have the right people, even if you're, let's say, your friends, you know each other, or you work together, you have projects together, it's interesting because in such a relationship, they kind of really show their true faces. So there were a few cases in which I would have said that this person is an amazing mentor, but then all of a sudden, due to cultural differences that sometimes are very strong, they were not ready for it. So the one thing that we have seen that is very important to pick the right people to keep this trust in our community is, especially on the mentor side, that they need to have a lot of international experience. And with that, I do not mean they travel, because we all like to travel, but it doesn't mean that you engage with the local people and that you understand the local culture. And it's not only that they need to be very international, but that at least they have lived for a certain period in a different country, because only by that they were at least once in their life the outsider.
Right.
And so they understand the other perspective of, okay, if usually I was used to a certain habit of, I don't know, the family thing or what you usually do, it can be completely different, or people can understand you in a completely different way. And that has helped a lot to be more careful on really selecting people that have been a lot of times in their life the outsiders of a certain community because they were coming from a completely different country.
That's amazing. Henry?
And so what are your 3 tips for a happy workplace?
3 tips for a happy workplace. So I think the first one is really about being authentic. So I think in a workplace where everyone can be really themselves in the good and in the bad ways can maybe lead to conflict. But I think conflict is also part of having a happy workplace, because we need to fight. We need to be in a discussion or something and not always being just, yes, I agree. So I think it's definitely being authentic or having authenticity as one of the backbone. Second, I think it's about diversity, because again, only by diversity, I think you can have surprising moments in which in your collaboration, you're not only in your funnel, you're not only doing the things as you usually do, but you get surprised. And that again can be positive and negative as well, because maybe things are not going the way you want and it might be a little bit more challenging. But I believe that the outcome, the quality might be even better. And so the satisfaction and the happiness about, wow, look at what we have done, what we have created, even this week, be stronger. And then I need a third one, which I think is really about something more related to open-minded and giving everyone also the freedom in a way to also say, like, today I need to go. I have other issues because a workplace is fine, but we have a lot of different identities. And this might be connected to what I see, especially also in Kenya, for instance, or in other African countries, is that we are overwhelmed, especially as women, with a lot of identities because you're the mother, you're the wife. And so if you want to have a happy person and a happy environment at work, you also need to allow that they have enough time to fulfill the other identities and the duties that those identities bring on top. And I think otherwise that is challenging. And I think this is something that would be wonderful to see even more.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. I think that's the first time we've ever heard any that's speaking to identity. No, I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to see, because otherwise you might hear always the same words again and again.
Yes, but it is that whole thing of, and I'm sure we'll talk more about it, of that actually really putting a name to it. And it's as simple as the various identities that we have. No, thank you.
We have, and often they're in clashes.
Yes. Alisa, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for talking to us and telling us about what you do. And I'm just wondering, how do people find out more about your organization?
Myself, I have a website, so it's very easy. If someone is just searching Alisa Sydow, you find my website, and there are all the different projects on it, including Numpy, including my research. Because the good thing is, even if there are a lot of things that I do, they're all connected. They make sense. They're in one topic. And if someone just wants to have a look at what we do on Numpy, they can also just join us on our website or on Instagram.
Fantastic. I almost forgot, Henry.
Yes, almost forgot. Absolutely.
Because we asked you about 3 things for a great workplace, but what gives you joy outside of work? What do you do for fun?
For fun, there are quite a lot of things. So it's difficult to pick only one thing. So I pick one, but then at least I can find a way how to squeeze the other one in. So great. I really love to cook, and I like to cook not for me. It's nice to cook for myself as well, but of course it's nicer for a lot of people. So definitely it's about having your family around. That gives me a lot of joy.
Oh, yes. Lovely. A favorite dish to cook?
Oh, a favorite one. I'm really good at making bread on my own. I think that's my German DNA. But then the Italian DNA, I really like to do my pasta, like homemade pasta with the old machine.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Carbonara is carbonara. I love it. Like the real carbonara is just very good.
Oh, fantastic. We'll wait for the invite for the carbonara.
Yes.
Okay.
Come to Milan.
Very good.
Thank you once again.
So what do you think about that, Maureen?
Oh, it's so really interesting. And do you know what I think is so apt? It's Black History Month. So hopefully this will come out at the same time as Black History Month in October. To think about the hard work being put into what she does in supporting these entrepreneurs. And I think it's a testament, because we talk to large organizations as well as small, but this is like a 2-person business.
It is, yeah.
And sometimes it can be even more challenging to deal with just one other person. Can't get away with. So she said, like, it was grand about making sure that they had the same vision, but also aware that they can have conflicts as well. But it always goes back to having that shared vision.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things. What about you?
Well, the single mums and the artisans and all of those kinds of things in Kenya, that's amazing. And after she did that, she talked about that on the US. It was at $700.
It was free, so up to the value of $700 that they could ship.
Yes, but that's not there anymore.
So this was part of a conversation afterwards, everybody, just in case you just try to rewind to find out, where was that said? But it's the thing of that, and I've experienced this, where I've gone to events where they're selling products from Kenya.
Oh, right.
Yeah, especially like beads, jewelry, handbags, and so forth. And they are handmade by Kenyans. but have been shipped over and people are selling it and creating their own profit on top of it.
Okay.
So they are selling it way more than what they would have purchased from the Kenyan family, who are only just getting a small token to help with their families. So what she was talking about in our podcast here was about the storytelling, making sure that the branding gets there, that people are more aware of the products and where it's come from. That was really, really important. Actually wearing their brand and their logos so that people know that they're Kenyans. I love that.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I will definitely be checking out more about that because I'm really interested in that to find out how to support that as well. But what's happening at Happy, Henry?
What's happening at Happy?
Yes.
Now, the podcast is based on the book Happy Manifesto. It's a fabulous book.
It is.
And I'd like to give you a physical copy.
Ooh.
So check me out at henry@happy.co.uk. Send an address or send it to a colleague. Please do it.
And you know what? I've had so much good feedback about the book from our apprentices that have read the book, and they're just so wowed. And it's very practical things that you can just put into place straight away.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
pre-approval. Absolutely.
Get your free copy.
Yes, indeed. So check out our website, happy.co.uk, and please, please, please put in reviews.
Yes. Definitely. Put in reviews. You always check out what we've got happening at Happy. But more importantly, let's continue creating
joy at work.